These figures represent a staggering concentration of national wealth. This single city generates roughly 33% of India's entire income tax and 60% of its customs duties. This capital is managed by the institutional steering wheels of the country, the Reserve Bank of India and the Bombay Stock Exchange, both centralized here on the western coast. But if you look at the physical history of this trillion-dollar metropolis, you hit a contradiction. Most of the ground supporting these skyscrapers literally did not exist a few centuries ago. The economic heart of India isn't just a city that grew on the coast. It is a city that was engineered out of the coast. In the 16th century, this coastline was unrecognizable. There was no single landmass, but rather a disconnected archipelago of 7 islands, including Worli, Mahim, and Colaba, separated by dangerous ocean currents. These shores were originally home to the indigenous Koli fishing community. They lived off the tides and maintained a deep devotion to their local patron goddess, Mumbai Devi. In 1661, these low-value islands became a geopolitical asset. The Portuguese handed them to the British crown as a royal dowry for Princess Catherine of Braganza. The British inherited a fragmented logistical nightmare. They didn't realize that the immense effort required to unify this terrain would eventually produce the wealthiest city in South Asia. The turning point came in the 18th century with the launch of the Hornby-Villard project, the first major step in creating a unified city. This was a massive undertaking to physically dump rock and soil into the ocean breaches. By plugging the gaps between the 7 islands, engineers were able to stop the constant flooding and merge the archipelago into a single mass. As the land masses locked together, it created a massive peninsula with a naturally protected deep-water port on its eastern flank. This newly solid ground allowed for industrial infrastructure. By 1853, the first passenger train in India was running across this reclaimed earth, connecting the port at Boribandar to Thane. By combining a deep-water harbor with a functional railway network, the city had inadvertently built the infrastructure necessary to capture a massive wave of global wealth. That wealth arrived in the 1860s, triggered by the outbreak of the American Civil War. The conflict cut off the global supply of American cotton, leaving European textile markets desperate for a new source. Bombay's newly unified port and industrial mills absorbed that demand immediately. This industrial boom flooded the city with capital, turning a collection of fishing villages into a global trade hub. The profits from these 19th-century cotton mills provided the seed capital for modern financial markets, eventually evolving into the high-stakes trading of Dalal Street. Over the following century, as the city grew into a modern financial titan, its identity shifted away from its colonial origins. In 1995, it was officially renamed Mumbai to honor the Koli goddess Mumbai Devi. The renaming proved that while colonial engineering built the physical ground, the city ultimately reclaimed its indigenous identity to stand as an independent economic powerhouse. The 19th century reclamation strategy never actually ended. As the city outgrew its borders through the 20th century, engineers continued to push into the sea to provide space for its ever-expanding economy. Today, this is visible in projects like the multi-billion-dollar Coastal Road, which is physically adding new real estate to the city's western edge. Major modern infrastructure like the Atal Setu Bridge acts as a modern-day extension of those original island merging projects, connecting the overcrowded peninsula to the vast undeveloped land of Navi Mumbai. Whenever Mumbai runs out of room, it doesn't stop growing, it simply builds more geography. But the value of this reclaimed land isn't just in the concrete. It's in the raw human energy of the millions who commute daily through these stations to keep the national economy moving. It is a unique blend where street-level survival and global corporate headquarters share the exact same manufactured soil. The journey from 7 isolated islands to India's financial capital shows how a city can transcend its geographic limits. By literally reshaping its foundations, Mumbai redefined what a metropolis could achieve. What aspect of Mumbai's relentless spirit do you find most impressive? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more deep dives into how geography shapes our world.